the more the war goes on for them, the better it is because...
Somebody who understands, right?
In order to be a partner with Israel, keep Hezbollah down.
Yes. I just need an American leader I just need somebody that understands any of the countries. She's so much smarter.
He is a prisoner of the most extreme elements within
Ben Giver and Spoltry. She's right.
Board of diplomacy that requires
an understanding.
Him to take some personal risks. And
oh, yes. Okay, hold on. I'm so sorry. This is going to be one of the most painful things I've ever said in my entire life. My queen? My queen?
Whoever our candidate is, whoever emerges, has to be able to go toe-to-toe on all of that. But I want to just underscore something I said. I personally...
Oh, I'm going to want to kill myself after listening to this. What does it sound like when somebody actually knows literally anything about anything, and how our politicians used to have to know things to be qualified for their job?
At all. I would not be, but I think we have to deal with the reality that we have, and President Trump has decided to go to Alaska to meet with Putin on our territory, in our state, on a military base. So I would be focused on trying to persuade him that he gains nothing by capitulating to Putin. I understand from everything I've read, he very much would like to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. And honestly, if he could bring about the end to this terrible war where Putin is the aggressor, invading a neighbor country, trying to change...
Oh, that's actually such a fucking good point, actually. Wait, I don't know what she's about to say, but if you could bait Trump into thinking, if you negotiate a settlement where the only thing that Russia gets to keep is Crimea, or Sevastopol only, right? That... Hold on. Okay, hold on. I'm so sorry. This is going to be one of the most painful things I've ever said in my entire life. I would support... Hold on, I need a break. Wait. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Okay. I would support Donald Trump getting a Nobel Peace Prize if he could negotiate that. Oh, that hurt. Oh, God. Oh. And I think a lot of the world would. If Donald Trump could negotiate an end to Ukraine-Russia, where Ukraine keeps all of its territory with the exception of Crimea, or maybe just Sevastopol gets leased or permanently kept by Russia, I think there would be a serious argument there for that to happen. And he could say that he brought about an end to a conflict, and it's good politically for him. Imagine, when was Crimea invaded? Under Obama. And when was Ukraine proper massively invaded? Under Biden. And who ended that conflict and who got Ukraine all of their territory back? It was Donald Trump. That would be a huge, if he could do it. Maybe if they wagged that in front of him some more, maybe he'd be more desperate for it.
Terrible war where Putin is the aggressor, invading a neighbor country, trying to change the borders. If he could end it without putting Ukraine in a position where it had to concede its territory to the aggressor, had to, in a way, validate Putin's vision of greater Russia, but instead could really stand up to Putin, something we haven't seen, but maybe this is the opportunity, to make it clear that there must be a ceasefire, there will be no exchange of territory, and that over a period of time, Putin should be actually withdrawing from the territory he seized in order to demonstrate his good faith efforts, let us say, not to threaten European security. If we could pull that off, if President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize. Because my goal here is to not allow capitulation to
an invader.
Putin, aided and abetted by the United States. I think that's a terrible, terrible precedent, and I think it would make our country less safe. I think it would reward Putin's aggression, and he will not stop. We know that. You can dream, Jessica, you can dream, and I'm dreaming that for whatever combination of reasons, including the elusive Nobel Peace Prize, President Trump may actually stand up to Putin on behalf of not just Ukraine and its democracy and its very brave people, but frankly, on behalf of our own security and interests.
There's, the story about Special Envoy Witkoff misunderstanding what Putin was saying and coming back to the president and saying, oh, he wants to make concessions, when I don't think those words would ever be uttered by Vladimir Putin under
Witkoff is fucking retarded, so who knows what the fuck. I don't know why you would rely on this guy. That would be like Xi Jinping speaking to me in Chinese and me relaying the message to an American ambassador. Why the fuck would you expect me to have any idea what the fuck he said?
Circumstances. And Donald Trump has really been trying to tamp down expectations since this was announced. So we went from, we're going to get a great deal, then it leaks out that he's frustrated that Putin tells him one thing and does another, which is the most obvious thing that Vladimir Putin does. And now this is, quote unquote, a learning exercise.
If President Trump goes in with a better sense that he can be a peacemaker, okay, but not a Neville Chamberlain peacemaker, a Donald Trump tough peacemaker who holds Putin to account and protects the Ukrainian people gives them the security that they need, including a path to NATO, and basically stands firm with our allies who have been extraordinarily supportive of President Trump during this first 6-7 months of his second term, and really make a stake, like Churchill, make a stake against aggression. Make a stake.
This is why I hate Donald Trump being such a weak, spineless cuck. I hate that he has, like my mom used to say, I don't know, it was a kid thing, turn the other cheek Carter is what she would call Jimmy Carter and shit, because he was too weak, during the Cold War time period. If Donald Trump at least had the reputation of being as cucky and weak and spineless as he actually is, I'd feel differently about it. But the fact that he's seen as a strong guy and nobody knows what he's going to do, nobody has any idea what Trump's going to do. Everybody knows what Trump's going to do. He's going to capitulate over and over and over again to Putin. Everybody said it, every single meeting. They've always been right. What do you mean nobody? He's so unpredictable. He's the most predictable guy on the fucking planet. What do you mean? He's going to capitulate on the tariffs. He's going to capitulate on apparently taking over Greenland and Canada and Mexico and the Panama Canal, and he's going to capitulate to Trump, and he's going to capitulate to Netanyahu over and over and over and over and over again. That's all he does.
And you mentioned the term liberal world order, and there's been a lot of conversation about the breakdown, right, of the post-World War II order, and we don't have the same kind of relationships with our allies, to put it in Clintonian terms. There's a lot of dumb power being used, not a lot of smart power. How far, I guess, you think this breakdown has been, if we would be welcomed back into the proverbial fold? It seems like from the NATO summit that is the case, that our European allies may be a return of the living hostages.
The biggest opportunity that was missed was after the 12-day war with Iran. Israel established such a dominance, intelligence dominance, military dominance, controlled the air over Iran, was able to destroy important infrastructure of their military industrial complex, had the addresses of some of the leaders in the nuclear program. And then the United States came in and added to that dominance with our unique capability. After that, it seemed to me Netanyahu should proclaim victory. He should have said,
take the W.
Take the W. I mean, look at what we have accomplished. Hamas, which you're 100% right, is literally a death cult. It's on its knees. Iran, we have clearly sent a message very forcefully that we will not allow it to become a nuclear weapons power. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to lay out a plan for ceasefire on a fast track, whether or not Hamas agrees, because they have no interest in agreeing, because, the more the war goes on for them, the better it is. Because
somebody who understands, right? Israel's not going to do anything because it's Israel. They want to fight, okay? And Hamas isn't going to do anything because Hamas wants to fight. It would have to be the United States leadership that steps in to do something. And we would have the moral and the geopolitical and the diplomatic authority to do so, because we just helped Israel fucking bomb Iran, right? Imagine Netanyahu saying no to anything the United States of America tries to mediate after we carried them through their little Iranian crisis, right? What the fuck is Israel going to say? No, we're not going to do shit. Oh, okay. Fuck, we could have potentially made this an agreement behind closed doors before bombing Iran, right? We're going to go in and we're going to take care of this problem for you, but you motherfuckers need to figure out this Hamas shit, and it needs to happen right after. As our bombers are coming back to the United States, before they land on a U.S. base, you need to figure this shit out, or you're getting bombed next. Not that far, but...
because that fits their narrative. I'm going to begin talking with our Arab neighbors about what we could do to put together some kind of security/redevelopment program. I'm going to demand that the Palestinian Authority reform itself in order to be a partner with Israel.
Empowering the Palestinian Authority, because that's what was created after the Oslo Accords. They are a successful government of the Palestinians in the West Bank. It does work, but everybody fucking hates them because Israel undermines them and because the Palestinians want to keep fighting.
On doing anything about governing the day after Gaza. And you know what? That may cost me politically, because I have some people in my cabinet right now who do not agree with me. But if that's the case, I will go to the people in an election. I will go to the people with
because Trump does have the power. Trump can turn these motherfuckers any which way, bro. Trump, forget any of this. This is the only maybe Hillary underestimates the cultishness, but not really, right? Like people like Huckabee, who are actual fucking religious fanatics, might feel a certain type of way about it. But Trump can turn these people on a dime. Bro, look at people. Rubio is the Secretary of State. Look at Rubio's statements about Russia right after the invasion. These are like some of the most hawkish motherfuckers. They made such strong statements. Lindsey Graham did as well.
Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Senator Rubio.
And before he's weak here, and I'm not remembering this correctly.
Thank you for joining us. Senator, you believe, and you've not been wrong on any of this, you were the first to tell us that this invasion by Putin began. Thank you for informing us. But you think the possibility of Putin using chemical weapons is very real. Explain.
Yeah, I think if Putin thinks he's going to lose and he's running out of options, there's all kinds of dangerous things he's prepared to do. And I think part of what you were just discussing there with Ted, with Senator Cruz, about the lack of confidence. Look, there's two things happening right now. Americans are losing confidence in Joe Biden and his ability to manage the job and to get results and changes for our country. But it's not like foreign leaders and foreign adversaries don't watch the same video. And they watch the same things. And that's just the part that
these people don't remember how hawkish our neocons were, and now they are the most dove-like losers in the world.
concerns me the most with all these gaffes. It's not just the impact that it's having here domestically on Americans, but like Americans understand our system's a lot more just about Joe Biden, although his administration is doing a lot of damage. But our adversaries and our allies start to lose confidence in our country, and our adversaries start to wonder whether they can get away with certain things. And that's the part that really concerns me when it comes to Putin. Is I think he invaded because he didn't think Biden would do anything about it, and I think he's willing to do other things now potentially because of the same.
All right, so we've been showing these videos. We got entire cities leveled. You got innocent men, women, and children, obviously they're civilians, dead in the street. You got mass graves. Look at your screen. Oh, you can't see it probably, Senator, but we're putting it up on the screen now. Mass graves. You have entire cities now that are in rubble. It's been...
Donald Trump 180'd the entire conservative movement by uttering a few words and saying he didn't give a fuck. And all of these people, the footage stopped, the Fox News coverage stopped, and all of them stopped caring. Wrong. They didn't stop caring. They 180'd their opinion, and they wanted an active separation of us from this conflict.
Just bombing on a level that we haven't seen like this, just indiscriminate bombing anybody. And he's gone pretty scorched earth in this conflict. It seems to me NATO and America need to do two things and two things only. One is they need to get the weapons to Zelensky and the Ukrainians as fast as possible. They don't seem to have a sense of urgency. And two, most of our NATO allies and most of Western European countries are still reliant on Putin and Russia for energy, and they're throwing billions of dollars in his pocket every day. That has to end immediately.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. On the energy front, they've allowed him to use it as leverage, as a weapon, and he still holds that over Europe's head, and in many ways over the head of the rest of the world, because if the European energy markets collapse, the whole world will feel the pinch from it. And then you talked about the weaponry. Look, that's critically important. I think we have to stop talking about giving Ukraine the weapons they need to defend themselves and start talking about it this way. The weapons Ukraine needs now to win. They have a real chance here, not just to achieve a strategic victory, but an operational one, which would do permanent damage on the Putin regime in Russia and for years to come. I think send a very powerful message. You don't think China's watching this?
Like, imagine how, I don't know if our production capacities make this possible, but imagine how you could have spun this in such a neocon way as well if Trump was such a cowardly fuck, right? Like, imagine you tell Europe, you guys aren't buying any more oil. You're not getting more energy from Russia, okay? However, the United States, in two ways. One, we're going to drill baby drill. We're going to offshore drilling that we didn't before. We're going to drill on federal lands. We're going to put fucking drills into the Everglades, whatever the fuck the crazy shit conservatives want to do. One, and two, we're going to subsidize our energy prices, with our own fucking budget, because fuck it, we're going to sell you the oil instead, right? Whatever you could have bought it from Russia, we'll sell it to you, right? Imagine like the pressure on Russia. Imagine the alliances that would have been strengthened with our European partners. Like, imagine the motivation for the United States. Now your Democrats are fucked because now you're roped into like, okay, fuck, we kind of have to support if we really want to support Ukraine, we want to support Europe, we kind of have to go along with these like more hardcore oil programs, coal programs, energy policies. Like, there's like ways you could have done this, but
plan for the future, which is the day after Gaza.
Sorry, somebody corrected me, or I don't know if they're correct or not. Somebody said that Hillary was talking about the political capital that after we lost, would be on Netanyahu's side and not Trump's side. That might be, maybe she was talking about Netanyahu, not Trump. Why didn't Biden do all those things? Should he have gone harder at Russia after the invasion? So I know that there are Ukrainians that get mad at me. I think Biden did a great job in bringing all of Europe and NATO together to fund Ukraine, for the United States to initially fund Ukraine, and for the U.S. to release our fucking intel and call it like a week in advance, saying, hey, Russia's about to invade some shit. This is fucked. I think Biden did a good job there. The problem is that afterwards, in the following months, Republicans started to play politics with support for Ukraine, and all of a sudden, our support for Ukraine became conditioned not on Ukrainian actors and not on the conflict over there, but it became conditioned on like immigration in the United States or other stupid shit. When Republicans tried to start bundling all of this shit together, and then Trump just decided he didn't give a fuck about it, and they got this really weird, fucky, stupid position of why are we helping Ukrainians when we could be helping Americans at home? When conservatives don't want to help any Americans at home. You see what happened now when they're in office. What do they fucking do? They cut fucking Medicaid, and then they give tax cuts. I get an extra $25,000 check now every year from the federal government so that you fucking retards can die in the street of fucking meth. Like, it's fucking retarded. Republicans have never given a fuck about the average citizen of the United States. They don't care at all about any of the poor people here. None of that money. The same bus that Nigel Farage was on, this is the Trump bus. Except instead of saying, send the EU 350 million, is that pounds or whatever? Instead of sending this to the EU, we can fund the NHS. Trump's bus is, instead of sending 200 billion to Ukraine, we can fund US, endowments or whatever. That didn't happen. It just went to tax cuts for wealthy people.
Hezbollah down and out. It includes working to make sure we get the right regime in Syria. I mean, there is so much that could have come to go to the people in an election. I will go to the people with my plan for the future, which includes normalization with Saudi Arabia. It includes buttressing the Lebanese so that they can, keep Hezbollah down.
Yes. I just need an American leader I just need somebody that understands any of the countries. She's so much smarter. Fuck. I don't remember who I watched who said this. I think it was a black woman. My brain got broken. I am so pro DEI. Watching white people talk about how unqualified women or black people are for the office of the presidency and then support Trump has actually brain broken me on whether or not we need affirmative action. If you're a white person and you think that Donald Trump was more qualified for this job, you are you're disqualified in ever ascertaining the qualification of anybody for any job ever. It's actually unbelievable to me. Donald Trump couldn't even name 5 countries in the Middle East. Fuck.
And out. It includes working to make sure we get the right regime in Syria. I mean, there is so much that could have come from the big W that was achieved over Iran. And it was
We got nothing. Nothing happened. What do we get for that?
Perfect moment. I also think if Netanyahu had done that, if his most extreme cabinet members had left him, I think he could have gone to the people of Israel and frankly gotten reelected. That wouldn't have been my choice because I think Israel needs new leadership. And I've said that now for 2 years. But I believe that it could have very well sent a message to the people of Israel like, okay, we hired him to keep us secure. He's done a good job defending us against the horrific Hamas attack. He has set Iran back. He's gotten rid of Hezbollah. We see a change in Syria. Okay, let's see what he's got to offer for the future. And for the life of me, he took short-term political positioning instead of long-term political and substantive benefits. And so now I think we're in a very difficult period. Everybody knows there's a massive humanitarian crisis in Gaza. You can't deny what people are literally seeing. Even President Trump said, look, I see people starving. I see children starving. And so every day that goes by without addressing that in a very clear way by the Israelis
It's going to lead to another terrorist attack. Yes. This is my queen. I love her. My queen. I love, you know what? We need an AOC Hillary Clinton ticket for, I'm just kidding.
Undermines Israel's position in the region
and
globally.
It does.
In a way by the Israelis undermines Israel's position in the region.
And it undermines U.S. position. The Palestinian issue is the single, splinter point wedge issue that fucks all U.S. interest up in the Middle East. If that one issue could be solved, everything else, all the other dominoes fall so easily. Saudi Arabia and so many other Arab states probably just like, oh yeah, Israel, they're chill, they're cool. We're cool with them. We're fine. You know what? And our people are chill and cool. We figured it out. We're good. We're fine. We figured it out. Fuck it. But it is this one splinter issue that everybody in the region can lean into so hard.
And globally, in a way that I believe undercuts Israel's long-term security.
It
so
does.
It's a vicious cycle that is going on, and it doesn't need to be that way. I also was a strong supporter of the move toward normalization with Saudi Arabia. I remember when I was secretary, Jessica, in literally my first meeting as secretary, I'd met him a number of times before with then Prime Minister and still Prime Minister Netanyahu. First thing he said was, how do we get to normalization with Saudi Arabia? Literally, and that was in 2009. So it's been a goal of his. I think it's now much farther away because of what is going on in Gaza and because of the Israelis' refusal to try to make the best efforts they can
to figure out the Palestinian
to deal with the humanitarian disaster. So I think there's a lot of moves that could have been relied on that would have put Israel in a stronger position, and even, whether I like it or not, Netanyahu in a stronger position to go forward.
Yeah, the Israeli people certainly in the wake of October 7th and at various points, like you're saying, like the attack on Iran, his popularity surges, and people forget about the fact that they think that he's totally corrupt and he doesn't want, an independent judiciary and that he's trying to stay out of jail.
Well, I think he's very bad for Israel. Don't get me wrong. I think that, it's way past his sell date, and
it's a long time to be in office for anybody.
Time, and he has made a series of political compromises that have really tied him up. He is a prisoner of the most extreme elements within
Ben
Israel.
Giver and Spoltry. She's right. I don't even know how I could give you. It's like the difference between a Down syndrome kid and Einstein, or not even. It wouldn't even be human. It's just the understanding of the region and the domestic situation. Everything is just so
Israeli society, and therefore he is unable to get pragmatic again, which he used to be able to do. So
this is true too. This is one of the big things I learned in Israel. I always thought that Netanyahu was an insanely far right person, but he's not. He's just he has put together a coalition to maintain his power, but that coalition is, as she said, is held hostage by extremely insane far right people. Netanyahu does have the capacity for more pragmatism. I think in 2011, there were talks floated with Abbas about figuring out some kind of two-state-ish solution, even though the Likud party platform promised to never recognize a Palestinian state or whatever. I think they have from the river to the sea, Israel will be the only state written into that platform. He can be pragmatic. He is for the purpose of putting together a coalition, but right now it is absolutely held hostage by the insanely far-right elements in it. But you can force that pragmatism by having him embrace his recent political wins and then to put Israel on a better path. But he would have to. There's just no leadership at all from the United States. There's just no leadership at all from the United States.
He is unable to get pragmatic again, which he used to be able to do. So my view on this is he has nothing to lose by trying to do the right thing. And the right thing is, let's look to alleviate the suffering in Gaza. Let's get organized to try to get the Arab countries.
And like, if you're thinking about like, I don't know if you would view it this way. If you were thinking about legacy, like like imagine you're the Israeli leader. That could cut both ways. I'm gonna say imagine, because he's defeated almost all of Israel's enemies. Again, Netanyahu's he's been on an amazing run this year. Okay, this is an amazing run. Hezbollah, Assad, Hamas, all of the leadership in Hamas, Iran, like he's on a generational run. Imagine if he also figured out and the Abraham Accords. Imagine if he also figured out the Palestinian issue at the same time. But now maybe he would consider the big loss because now they formalized borders and now they can't, annex more shit. I don't know.
And let's not give any excuse for Hezbollah to get back on its feet. Let's not, prejudge what's going to go on in Syria because we're setting, the Syrians against Israel and the United States. Let's try to be smart about that. So I just feel like there's a lot of moves, but it's a chessboard of diplomacy that requires
an understanding,
him to take some personal risks. And
yes, that's true too. Yes, because as I said, one of the biggest thing that keeps Trump from doing anything brave or visionary is he will not take risks. He will only back the 100% option because he's a fucking coward. He is a fucking coward. He's a coward.
I think that he's missed an opportunity. The Abba Eban used to say about the Palestinians, they never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. Well, I think Netanyahu has missed an opportunity by missing an opportunity after they performed so extraordinarily against Iran with our help.
He's hurt his own cause, but he's...
Did she say Abbas Eban?
About the Palestinians, they never miss an opportunity to miss. So I think that he's missed an opportunity. The Abba Eban used to say about the Palestinians.
Oh, this was the... it's the Israeli... Was this the ambassador to the United States in the 70s? Or was it more recently? Hold on. Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was in the 70s. Abba Eban wrote the book having to do with the Camp David Accords. I think it was him. The big negotiations between Israel and the United States and Egypt that finally brought formal peace between Israel and its Arab neighbors, or at least Egypt, which was huge. Egypt was like the leading, antagonizer. There were no more major wars against Israel after this point, just stuff with Hezbollah and everything. I believe in that book, though, Abba Eban uses, I think, the term, I think he's the one that used the phrase, the messianic commitment of Jimmy Carter to actually get this agreement done, that it did require U.S. leadership to do this. The fact that she even knows that guy's name. Oh, God, I hate my president so much. Oh my God, I hate this country.
A workable or good one. So,
right. And a lot of...
Like, how do you listen to somebody like her speak and then like...
I think that if you think that Donald Trump is an idiot, I think that you need to reevaluate your analysis of intelligence. Because intelligence isn't just simply the ability for a person to do math or be able to read something and remember what they read. At the end of the day, I view intelligence primarily as the ability to create outcomes that are beneficial for yourself.
Like, it's not, right? I can think of better, I'm sure IQ researchers can speak better, but like I'd say intelligence probably broadly has to do with the ability to recognize patterns, integrate new information into your understanding of the world, and then to dynamically engage with the world using the newly integrated information based on said pattern recognition. All that is probably better, but we're just saying intelligence is the ability to create good outcomes for yourself. I feel like it's so simplistic and reductive.
If you think that you're really smart,
like, wasn't Alan Turing chemically castrated and killed himself? That seems like a bad outcome. Was that guy an idiot? Didn't Einstein go to the grave thinking that quantum mechanics was bullshit because it couldn't account for gravity or whatever, and he hated all those motherfuckers, and he thought the probabilistic shit was cringe and gay, and then he died? What a loser. Who was the guy who had all it was... Did Edison steal all the inventions and patents and shit from Tesla? I think that's over-exaggerated, but even so, loser. Like, create good outcomes for yourself? Like, what a stupid...
but you constantly can't create outcomes that are beneficial for you, I don't think you're actually that smart. I think that if you think that Donald Trump is an idiot, I think that you need...
Start with the Einstein smear. He was one of the major contributors to QT. Yeah, that might not be true. I might just be repeating him there. Sorry. I love you.
In life, you have to make hard choices. And the Israelis had no choice after October 7th. They had to respond, and they had to try to get the hostages back. But you also have to keep your head about you. And what has happened in the recent period, because of Netanyahu's policies and his feeling that he has to placate the very far-right extremist elements within his cabinet, is that, in my view, as a strong supporter of Israel, that is undermining Israel's security. It is undermining Israel's position in the world. It is putting Israelis and Jews at risk around the world. Because, again, people who can see with their own eyes have a right to ask themselves, but wait a minute, can't you do two things at once? Can't you feed hungry children and continue to defend yourself? And, anytime a true member of Hamas pops up, take appropriate action. Can't you also begin to try to work with the Arabs in the region, those who are part of the Abraham Accords, like the UAE, those you want to normalize with, like Saudi Arabia, who have their own internal politics about whether or not they can really get close to Israel, work with Israel? Can't you begin to work with them about the day after? There needs to be a day after planning process in Gaza. I think that's the way to talk about this. And, people who don't support Israel, they're on a different, they're on a different track. That's them. That's not us. And that's not...
True. They're not. We don't need to worry about them. Fuck them. Okay? Support Israel, but support them acting morally. True. Make them create a plan. Make them create some kind of vision, or make them embrace a vision that has long-term security in mind. We don't have to appease these disgusting pro-genocidal pedophiles like Hassan who want to fuck, underage people at Diddy parties. We don't need to appease those people. It's a different class of people. They're not us, okay? We're not part of them.
And you've got to keep your eye on many moving pieces at the same time. And so I give Bibi and his various governments that have been in office since October 7th, a lot of credit for what they did with Hezbollah, what they did with Iran, the changeover in Syria, defending the Druze, everything else that's going on. But that is all overshadowed.
What's a Druze? Where is her statement? I'm sorry, I forgot. YouTube search just doesn't work anymore. Don't know why.
Just one day after the October 7th massacre a year ago, Hezbollah joined the war against Israel. It launched an unprovoked attack on our cities, killing civilians without distinctions: Jews, Christians, Muslims, and Druze.
Okay, so they said that they're killing.
Druze we talked about last time.
Druze. There was the village in the Golan Heights. The Hezbollah rocket came down and hit kids playing soccer, but everyone says Israel shot the rocket down and it hit the kids playing soccer. That was in the Golan Heights. Muslims, it killed one person in Palestine. It hasn't killed any Christian Palestinians that I'm told anyway. It hasn't killed any. I don't think so. I don't think.
Druze.
And I think it killed Jewish Christian Israelis, and it hasn't. I don't think.
Druze.
And I think it killed Jews. I think it killed IDF soldiers. So I think Hezbollah has not killed anyone else.
Israel has decided to put an end to this. We've decided to do whatever is necessary to return our people safely to their homes.
Now, I don't blame her as a white American with absolutely zero attachment to the region, the religion, or the people for not knowing any of that. But where was this Hillary in 2016? People have spent 20 years attacking the Clintons. You don't understand how much shit the Clintons do. Bannon recognized this. Even Bannon knew this in Bannon's leaked, when Bannon was talking to the Chinese the Chinese broadcasters that he was like trying to market his thing to, like he talked about this a lot. The Clintons were incredibly tough people. Wait, where's the full? This is not the full thing. We killed off the Clinton dynasty by beating her campaign day in and day out with unmatched passion and unrelenting intensity, never seen before in American history. In democracies, the quickest way to catch up when you're behind is not to get your positives up because people have already formed an opinion. I mean, you could talk about, I got a better plan, or I got a healthcare plan, or if Trump had gone after China, his positives would rise. But think about it. Since the day he's gotten in office, we won with 47% of the vote, right, nationwide. And the way we break down by states, which is the way we do it, so each state, so Arizona has more control of its future, right, than just having a popular vote. You can win with 45 or 46% of the popular vote, but Trump's approvals have never been higher than like 42 or 43% ever. It's within that bandwidth. Even in 2016, people just had to make a decision. They didn't like Trump, but they hated Clinton more. Why? When I came in, I'm the expert at driving up negatives, right? I had been on 10 years on that bitch. Emails, yeah, but also her corruption. I went back to the Clinton scandals and the Clinton thing. We just hammered her every day. Like, people had spent decades attacking the Clintons. The whole Monica Lewinsky thing, the whole Clinton Foundation stuff that was supposed to be the most evil thing. Like, when I say that, there should be a little thing. Wait, the Clinton Foundation? Wasn't that like the most evil child rape thing in the universe? But nobody talks about that anymore. No one has any idea what the fucking Clinton Foundation even is or was. Back in 2016, it was like the source of all evil in the fucking world. Yeah, I've read this every time on stream. But here's why the Clintons, as bad as they are, they're very tough. They're like the mafia. They're like triads, right? They've been doing this for 20 years, and the right has been attacking them all that time. So to have an attack, that's fine. They'll attack back. Biden is very soft. No one's ever attacked him because he's from a tiny state, Delaware. Never. Obama always got the grief, not Biden. Yeah, but this is why there was so much hatred for her and the Clintons when she ran in 2016. It's very intentional.
Because that is their ideology. So, biggest complaints that I've had is that American voters, and to some extent the American media, don't understand how many years the Republicans have been working in order to get us to this point. It took 50 years to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court will...
Alan Lichtman brought that up to me, true. Because I was like, yeah, the Trump shit is crazy. And Lichtman was like, it's been the Republicans for a long time. Yeah, you're right. It is. He's right. And I do adopt that view now.
A case about gay marriage. My prediction is they will do to gay marriage what they did to abortion. They will send it back to the states. Anybody in a committed relationship out there in the LGBTQ community, you ought to consider getting married, because I don't think they'll undo existing marriages, but I fear that they will undo the national right. And so a little fewer than half the states will recognize.
Also, by the way, her saying that they'll go after gay marriage, that's a less extreme position than Trump trying to rescind birthright citizenship via a fucking executive order even.
Gay marriage. There are going to be real world consequences, but a lot of them are not likely to hit with the velocity and intensity until after the 2026 election. So they're trying to set it up so that they can win that election and then dump all of this other bad news on the American people. And they're doing state capture of capitalism, state capture of institutions. The courts are doing their best, but, it's slow. And the Supreme Court gave Trump a big victory when they said no nationwide injunction.
Why? What the fuck? No injunction? You can enjoin the government? What the fuck?
To stop allegedly illegal activity, you have to go district by district, circuit by circuit.
Or giant class action. Oh, she's a former attorney too, isn't she? Right? And she was a senator. I forget the senator from New York, right? I think she was. Did they meet in law school? Her and graduated from Yale. In 79, she became the first woman partner at Little Rock's Rose Law Firm. Destiny, saying former attorney is like saying former Marine. That shit stays with you for life. That's actually not true, because a lot of the attorneys surrounding Trump are now disbarred. So
associates himself.
So what I don't understand is that part of the reason we've been a successful economic engine for so long is because we've had things like the rule of law. You didn't have to worry about a contract you signed. You had someplace to go to get it enforced if the other side tried to get out of it. You had rules. Maybe you didn't like the rules, but they laid out.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold on. I'm sorry. I didn't remember. Yes. Right? The institutions have facilitated the free flow of capital in the United States. Freedom, like liberalism and capitalism and all that, for money to flow is important, but it only works because you have the structures in place to make it work, right? This is what the criticism I keep saying when Donald Trump's like, everybody wants to come to the United States. Everyone wants to come here. Yeah, you motherfucker, for all of the reasons that you are destroying, that you're actively working against. That's why they want to come here. Like, you're talking about how we're going to make companies set up trade here in the United States because we're going to tariff every other country. Then nobody's going to want to set up trade in the United States because you're tariffing every other country. One of the reasons why the United States is nice because of free trade. Like, true. Sorry, hold on.
That's the kind of economy that we're moving toward. A corrupt kleptocracy where businesses and leaders of businesses who go along with Trump, no matter how much it hurts them, no matter how embarrassing it is, will stay in his good graces and will avoid too much pressure. But they will get pressure. They will get pressure to contribute. They will get pressure to sign up and show up. They will get pressure to contribute to Republicans, but they won't be put out of business. But if you...
Like, you want to talk about embarrassing? This is an example of what she's talking about. Is where Zuckerberg writes this retarded bullshit letter at the behest of fucking Jim Jordan and the House Dems, not Dems, I'm sorry, the House Republicans, saying that, like, oh, actually, the FBI did pressure us. We did actually feel a lot of pressure from the government and all, where they 180'd everything on their position. Without it, of course, nothing of substance was sent to back this up. There was nothing here that was like, oh shit, there was actually real pressure and it was really fucked. And then now you have Zuckerberg, well, I say now, So they came out and they capitulated to the Trump admin, saying like, oh yeah, the FBI did warn us about this Russian disinformation and the laptop story, and that's why we did. You guys were right about everything. And then Zuckerberg going on to wait, hold on. First of all, Meta settled one of these Trump lawsuits, $25 million because of banning an account because it violated Trump's First Amendment rights. You fucking kidding me? And then Zuckerberg saying, what was it? That they were going to get rid of fact checkers?
Hey everyone. I want to talk about something important today because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's...
Yes, prioritizing free speech as the president sues literally fucking every single person that publishes a bad story about him.
How quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Why? I feel like I'm in a woke Netflix movie where like, oh, wow, the lead bad guy is a big bad straight white male, okay, with a beautiful white wife. And the people that are calling him out the most is the black female and the white female, of course, right? It feels like I'm in a fucking woke Netflix movie.
I told you.
And we're going to write the main lead characters. Oh, and the main bad guy also is the white bad guy from Russia. And the main white guy here is going to be an actual retard who's completely emotionally driven and doesn't understand even the most basic of shit. How would there be a president of the United States who doesn't know anything about foreign policy? It's not even realistic, you know? And of course, just to make him ultra super bad, they have to throw in a side plot of him trying to defend the Epstein pedophile guy. Like, come on, give me a break.